So hopefully tonight, if these clouds clear up, I'm going to be able to take a picture of the Orion Nebula and the Horsehead Nebula in a single frame with my 75 to 300 millimeter lens. So I'm going to set my 75 to 300 millimeter kit lens at 135 millimeters, and then I'm going to capture the region of the Orion Nebula and Horsehead Nebula in a single frame. So I got the focal length in Stellarium and I worked out a framing, and it's a really popular framing. I'm going to have the Orion Nebula and the Horsehead Nebula just together with the 135 and see what I can capture. So far the clouds have not cleared up and it's still cloudy, so if the forecast holds true, I should be able to get some imaging time on it before the moon comes up. This time of year, the night sky is dominated by tons of beautiful constellations, including Orion and Taurus, and there's so many beautiful deep sky gems located in these constellations, and it's a really perfect time for you to get out your binoculars and go out on a clear night and view the constellations and the beautiful deep sky objects in them, including the Seven Sisters Pleiades. That's a really bright one. Orion Nebula, that's crowd favorite, of course. And I remember probably about 4 years ago now, the first time I saw the Orion Nebula through my small telescope, and I immediately knew I was looking at the Orion Nebula, and that was one of the moments that really got me into astronomy as a hobby. So if it's clear one of these winter nights, try finding and looking at the Orion Nebula. It's a really beautiful target and one of the brightest nebula actually visible to the naked eye. If you live in Boreal 4 down, definitely try observing the Orion Nebula with your naked eye on a clear winter's night. It's definitely something you should do. And another thing is, this time of year, since it's so full of all these beautiful night sky gems and the winter constellations, it's a perfect time for beginners to get into the hobby with their astrophotography setups, like beginner astrophotography setups like the one I have, because there's so many bright nebula out. You don't need a modified camera to capture even the Horsehead Nebula and the Orion Nebula. Like, I don't have my modified camera yet, and I'm going to be capturing the Orion Nebula and the Horsehead Nebula tonight with a really cheap, affordable 75 to 300 millimeter zoom lens. So this time of year, there's so many reasons why it's perfect for you to get out on a clear night and just look up and try to photograph or view some of these beautiful night sky gems. It feels really weird setting up my setup tonight because so far it is cloudy, but according to the forecast it's gonna clear up. But right now it still is cloudy and I feel really weird setting up. So I'm probably going to wait till it is clear to set up because tonight seems like it's going to be really cold, wet, and muggy. So I think I'm going to set up a little later in the night. Just hope these clouds clear. So since there are so many trees in my yard, I'm going to have to probably set up around right where I'm standing, because anywhere else, like in my driveway where I usually set up, I have to probably wait for Orion to pass through all these trees, and that'll probably be by like midnight. So I have to set up in this pretty uncomfortable position underneath these trees here by the road in order to see Orion, but that's what we're going to have to do tonight if I want to get a decent amount of data on this target. So the same camera that I'm filming on right now, I'm going to be using to do my dog's barking. She doesn't stop barking. So the same camera that I'm filming on right now, I'm going to be using to shoot the target, because my other camera, the other Rebel T1i that I have, I'm about to ship it out to be modified by Astro here. So after I get this modification done, I should be able to pick up a lot more H-alpha detail in my images, and I'm really excited about that because that opens up a whole new world for me with all these different nebula targets, because I've been sticking to like Andromeda, Pleiades, all these targets that I can shoot without a modified sensor, and with this modification it's going to open up so much more availability of deep sky targets to me. Now after it gets dark enough, we need to wait for Orion to rise a little bit, I think, because right when it gets dark I'm not going to be able to start shooting it. I'll probably start about hopefully 7 o'clock because I want to get a lot of data on it tonight. Once it's time, I'm going to go polar line the setup and then start taking my sequence of exposures. I'll probably be shooting, I think I'm going to do 3-minute subs tonight. I'm going to try to get as much data as possible without blowing out the core. I don't want to blow out that core, so probably 3-minute ISO 800. We'll see about that. The sky is completely cleared up now, so since we are in the garage, seems like it has made improvements greatly, and it should be a nice clear night tonight. The weather forecast held true. The weather forecast did not hold true. So let me go tell you the story. That night I set the setup up and I was expecting it to be clear because I went outside and the skies had totally cleared. And so I set it up, went back inside, and then I came back out probably about midnight, and to find basically all the exposures ruined by cloud and the sky totally clouded over. So I just brought the setup in and I probably have like 5 usable sub-exposures from that imaging session. But that's how it happens sometimes, you know, some nights are ruined by clouds. So the image you're going to see at the end of the video will be a combination of data from that imaging session, just a couple, and then hopefully in a couple days there'll be another clear night so I can add data to that to get a useful image that I can share at the end of the video. And I hope everyone's doing well, and as always, until next time, clear skies.